Chapter 6. Ow! He scratched me. Cameron jumped back and touched her finger to her nose. Michael felt his stomach jump when he saw the angry red line where blood was welling up. You were in his face. What do you expect? Michael glared at Cameron, then turned to Otis. The kitten was sopping wet and covered with suds. His ears drooped. "Ma!" Mia yelled. "Otis scratched Cameron." Michael gulped. Why he yelled at Cameron like that? It wasn't really her fault. His heart raced as he quickly poured several cups of water over Otis's back. Then he pulled the kitten from Mia's grasp and wrapped him in a towel. Mia heard Mom's hurried footsteps. He held Otis tightly to his chest and softly scratched the damp fur behind his ears. "It's okay, Otis," he whispered. "She didn't mean to scare you." Otis shivered and blinked up at Michael. "Thank goodness I'm out of the water. Now I'm cold, but it's warm in the boy's arms." Michael's chest felt tight when he looked down at the little kitten. He wanted to protect Otis and keep him safe. In fact, maybe he wanted to keep him forever. If Peter really didn't want this sweet little tabby, maybe Otis should stay right where he was with the Battatellis. Mom appeared, looking worried. "Oh, Cameron, sweetie," she said when she saw the red streak across Cameron's nose. Mom rested one hand on Cameron's head and opened the medicine cabinet with the other. "What happened?" she asked. She looked right at Michael. He swallowed. "She got too close. She was right up in his face." "It wasn't Cameron's fault," Mia said, hands on her hips. "No, it wasn't," Michael added. "Otis doesn't trust her." He took a deep breath. "He doesn't trust anyone." He glanced at Cameron. "Sorry I yelled." "It's okay," Cameron whispered, but her eyes were beaming with tears. Michael looked away. "Michael, you and I need to have a talk," Mom sighed. She wetted a cotton with liquid from the brown bottle. Michael frowned. A talk, he thought. Great. Would Mom send Otis away? There was no way she'd put up with a cat who scratched people. "Cameron, this will only sting for a second," Mom promised. "I just need to clean it out." The liquid made bubbles in the red line across Cameron's nose when Mom pulled the cotton away. "Ow, I'm okay." Cameron smiled up at Mom. "I didn't mean to scare him. He just looked so cute." "I told you guys you had to be careful," Michael said. Mia spun around to face Michael. "Why are you being such a know-it-all? Cameron and I have read tons about cats. You don't know anything." Michael took another deep breath. "I've been doing some reading too. Otis was abandoned. He was left all alone. I remember that abandoned cats can be more nervous and scared than other cats. That's why I yelled at you, Cameron. I was just worried about Otis. I'm really sorry. How many times was he going to have to apologize?" "I'm okay," Cameron said again. Michael felt the kitten squirm, so he put Otis on the floor. Otis gave a tiny meow, looked around, and shook his entire body. Drops of water flew everywhere. Michael tried not to laugh, but when he looked around, he noticed that everyone else was cracking up. Even Mom was smiling. "Is he rinsed off?" she asked. "Pretty much," Michael said. "Then you need to come with me. Otis can stay here with the girls." Michael didn't want to leave Otis, but at least he was sure that Cameron and Mia would be more careful with the kitten now. Michael followed Mom into the kitchen. She turned back to face him. "Honey, you know you can't talk to Cameron that way. She's our guest, and she's trying to help." "I know. It just came out," Michael said. I was so worried about Otis. I'm worried too, Mom admitted. He's sweet, but he isn't really settling in. That's exactly what Pete said, Michael mumbled. What else did Pete say? Mom tilted her head to one side and looked into Michael's eyes. He said that the vet thinks Otis needs to find a forever family soon. Michael crossed his fingers and hoped Mom might decide that Otis should stay with them. If Pete didn't want him, Michael said sure did. Even with all the yowling, Otis was one terrific kitten. You should call Mr. Bulford and find out why she said that. It might help us help Otis. Can you call her? Michael kicked his toe against the floor. He felt a little shy about calling the vet, even though he talked to her lots of times in person. Remember how you said you and Mia would help with Otis? Mom asked. I think this would be a good job for you. Mom gave him an encouraging smile. I'll go see how the girls are doing. Okay, Michael trudged over to the laptop to look up the vet's number. He was relieved when he heard Dr. Bulford's voice. She was always so nice. Michael quickly told her about how Otis scratched Cameron's nose. That sounds like a normal response, Dr. Bulford said. Lots of cats are afraid of baths, and they often scratch when they're scared. It's a way of protecting themselves. Michael let out a sigh. Otis seems scared a lot. His yowling woke us up last night. It's going to take him time to feel comfortable, Dr. Bulford said. He needs to learn to trust. That's why I think it would be good to find him a permanent home soon. It'll be hard for him to settle in with your family and then have to move on to someone new. After they talked a little more, Michael thanked Dr. Bulford and hung up. He found everyone in the family room. Cameron was dangling a piece of red string in the air, and Otis was sitting on his hind legs. He batted the string back and forth. His eyes were bright and wide. What did Dr. Bulford say? Mom asked. She said that Otis needs a real home to feel safe, Michael told them. And she said he needs a routine. It'll help him adjust. Like she said, we should always feed him at the same time in the same place, and we should let him have a safe place where we don't bug him, like his bed or underneath the table where he was hiding earlier. Stuff like that. We can do that, Mia said. Mom nodded. Good. But don't forget, we also need to find Otis a home. Maybe, she thought for a moment, maybe the two of you could make up some flyers and put them around the neighborhood. With luck, we'll find him a forever family soon. Good idea, said Mia. Michael looked at her. Didn't she want to keep Otis like he did? She gave him a little smile, and she understood. Mom needed to know that they were working hard to find Otis a home. He nodded. Sure, we can make the flyers after school tomorrow. Mom smiled. Great. I know we all want what's best for Otis.